Hello, you're listening to a We Will Fix It podcast short with Colin Thomas and myself, James Piecowye.
I have my head plumber who is ripping up part of my kitchen floor because, unlike most of Dubai, for some reason Sahil has copper pipes. Now, copper pipes...
Okay, we had a whole copper pipe issue. You've got them in the ceiling in your washrooms, and they keep getting cracks.
It's all of the ceilings are or were copper pipes, and gradually, as another... I think we're on 7 leaks now.
Oh, man.
And as another
That's 6
leak,
too many.
Yeah, well, as another leak arrives, anything that we can see that's copper, we rip out and replace with PPR, which is the right way of doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this time it's the floor, and it is the water supply to the kitchen island.
Oh no!
And it just it hasn't completely gone, but this morning it was a minor lake in the kitchen.
Oh no!
Whereas the night before it was a puddle. Now we're at lake. So thank
So it's
goodness.
just seeping up through the tiles?
So yeah, basically it's just I think it is on the elbow where the pipe is coming up. But of course, the logical thing that you would do in that situation is when you build it, you would say, okay, we've got an elbow here. That would need additional support. So therefore, it's very easy just to put a C-clip over it and with a little bit of threaded bar down to solve that issue. If you didn't use PPR, which is extremely flexible and would work correctly. So
hold on, I want to pause you for a second because in places where your homes are built of wood frame, this becomes rather an easy job because you've got an island, you've run water to it, you go down into your crawl space or your basement or whatever you've got, and you can take a look at your tubing.
Yes.
In our case, you've got no basement.
Solid slab floors
that the copper's been run through, which is problematic to start with because of corrosion of things.
Well, the logic is really good for copper. In the UK, the best places have copper.
Right.
Here, it's whilst it's been desalinated, it has more salt in it than in Europe traditionally would have. So as a result of that, that is what's causing the problems with the copper.
So
but
it's from
additionally, the copper was pretty poor quality when it's originally fitted.
So this is something that one's got to be really aware of when they're going to shop for product.
Yeah.
Because I never think about it, that you've got different grades of copper piping that could end up in your home. I always thought of it just as there's one grade of copper piping. You go buy. I mean, I remember going to the hardware store with my dad.
Everything has different grades here.
Who would have thought?
Yeah. When we walk into a shop, if it's a new shop to us, we have to say to them, don't give us the cheap stuff. What we want is something that lasts. And normally if they don't, often we get this blank look of just disbelief. He wants the expensive stuff. What?
No one wants the expensive
stuff. Normally what we'll say is, will you warranty that? If the answer's no, nah. You're all right. Yeah. And I know fully well, we're never going to rip out half the products and call on a warranty, even if they were defective. But I need to know whether or not they trust their products. Yeah. And that's the big difficulty. It's again, Glenn's talking about this theme on the Powerits podcast very recently. And it's exactly the same issue in maintenance, where there are grades of absolutely everything. Yeah. There are a few cheap things that work better than the expensive things, but you only know about those through experience, which obviously these days we've got. But it's not the general scenario at all. Yeah.
So you've got the copper piping, you got this elbow. You think it's the elbow?
I'm hoping it's the elbow. If not, he's just going to have to root all the way back as far as he needs to go. So the good news is I do have the tiles from when we redid the dining area. So we can sort it. The problem is we have a fully built kitchen island with marble worktops on top, or the equivalent, that if he does need to keep going, could get compromised, let's put it that way. So, and we'll obviously replace everything with PPR once we've got it, but the noise, the dogs, and also my mother-in-law's birthday today.
Oh, no.
Means that we can't leave the dogs on their own because they will eat the sofa if they're on their own with that level of noise. Natalie obviously needs to go out to have breakfast with her mum, which means I need to go back, work from home with the dogs. I'm actually thinking, is it wrong to put earplugs in dogs? It's the only way I'm going to get any peace. I'm not actually going to do that, probably. And and I'm going to have to work from there so that we hopefully can get this all sorted in a day, which is the hope. If anyone can do it, my guy Alex can. He's as good as it gets. I mean, he's been with us now for what, 10, 11 years?
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, well, he's getting a little bit older and older, and he keeps saying, 2 more years, and then I'm going to go back to the Philippines. And when he does, we're going to be so happy for him and crying.
Yeah.
We've got other plumbers who are excellent as well, but they're just not Alex. You know? You look at his work afterwards and you're like, oh yeah, that guy knows what he's doing.